wonderful morning, excellent afternoon, and fantastic evening. This is Carla from Brown Union, where we get together with people from all over the world to speak in English and get to know each other. And right now we have two people from the United States, me and Victor Irving Jenkins. And from India, we have Gayatri Deshmukh. And Mayank, could you please put your Facebook name in here instead of just Mayank, so if people want to connect with you, they can just click on it and find you. This chat is mainly to get people from all over the world to speak to each other, chat with each other, and get to know each other. And we're getting someone from Vietnam. So we have 3 countries here already: the United States, India, and Vietnam, once she puts her camera on. I really want to bring to light, when you put your camera on, not only does it help your confidence in speaking, it also helps people know that really you're no different than anyone else. You have 2 eyes, you have a mouth, you have a nose, you have 2 ears, you have shoulders. Your color may be slightly different, but who in the world really cares? We chat here to show that there is diversity in the world. But under the diversity, there is a lot of similarities. And it is the similarities that pull us together. And the biggest similarity that everyone has is that we breathe in and we breathe out every day, many, many times a day. And the air doesn't change because you're in Africa or India or Vietnam or the United States. It stays the same. The same is with this chat. We really aren't different. We just have different ways of expressing ourselves. And when we begin to accept ourselves as we are, and we're feeling peaceful within ourselves, then we begin to be able to do that with other people in the world. Having said that, Victor, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, as soon as I make sure that I'm not muted.
You are not muted. I can hear you speaking. In
Yeah.
fact, no one in this chat should be muted because it's actually just a plain conversation. And as people come in, if they're being polite, we can keep everyone unmuted.
Yeah, I am Victor Irving Jenkins. I'm coming to you from Sacramento,
Victor,
California.
slow down 100%. You are talking too fast. Victor.
I am Victor Irving Jenkins, and I'm coming to you live from Sacramento, California. I actually am a Toastmaster and a delivery driver, and I spend many days thinking about what I'm going to say when I get in front of a camera, because I enjoy saying things when I get in front of a camera. I am pleased to have been associated with Carla for a year or so, and I enjoy the humor in our conversations from time to time. I hope I can speak some value into your life today. Back to you, Carla.
Thank you. Victor, I need you to remember to slow down your speech. Sorry that I have to be so tough on you, but I do. Gayatri, do you want to introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Carla. Hello, Victor. Hello, Mayank. Hello, Nguyen. Hello, everybody who is watching us live on Facebook. My name is Gayatri Deshmukh, and I'm a meditation coach from India. I am also a Toastmaster, and I have known Carla for 6 months now. And I know her to be this amazing lady who is never short of energy. That's all I can say. I'm really looking forward to what we are going to talk about today. She comes up with a bunch of surprises. Let's see.
Okay, for you, I'm very happy to have you here. Thank you for coming. I hope everyone who is here now is sharing this out with their company, with their family, their friends, whoever, because we want to get more people in and more conversation about what it is like in the world. Okay, Hoang, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, Carla. Yeah, good evening, Carla, Gayatri, Victor, and other people. Wonderful morning, excellent afternoon, and fantabulous evening to all of you, wherever you are right now. Yes, this is Hương from Vietnam. I'm a lecturer in a government university. I have been teaching international business for more than 17 years. With Gayatri, you have just known Carla for 6 months, but for me more than 3 years. Yeah, I have been next to her, and I'm really honored and privileged when being next to her to learn from her and also to communicate with a lot of people around the world. Yeah, so I'm so thrilled and delighted when she always invites me for every single meeting, even like English shows, yeah, to interact with people, especially with people who 20 years old and younger. So I don't have enough vocabulary to thank to her. So thank you so much. I'm happy and ready to be here to communicate with you, everyone. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for such a wonderful introduction. Mayank, I know nothing about you. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, welcome everyone. So this is Mayank. I am joining from India. So I am an engineer and currently I am working for Tata Motors. It's a automobile company and I have the dream of pursuing an MBA from abroad. So for me, the destination is USA. So I am targeting colleges out of USA. So I'm working on my communication skills, and I'm so thankful to Gayatri. She introduced me to you. I joined your last session. I was just about to leave for my badminton when I got the message for today's session, and I was so excited that okay, I will leave my session today, badminton session today, and will join this one. So,
Down. You're speaking.
so
great.
really excited to know what's there today. So that's it from my side.
You need, again, people don't realize if they're speaking too fast, you cannot be understood. One of the problems with accents, so to speak, is that people they speak at the same pace as they speak their own language. The sounds are a little different between languages. So when you slow down, it's easier for you to understand, to be understood. I will put the link to this in the chat here so you can share it out easily. because it may make life a little easier for you. And then I am doing a little more sharing out, so give me a moment to get that together, but let me give you the link of this chat. Anyway, guys, Gayatri, I'm not sure that we really want to talk about makeup, but one thing that we do want to talk about, and it happens all the time, is that everyone eats, and everyone has their different type of eating habits. And I'm wondering, what have you eaten today so far?
Today, I have eaten staple diet that we have here in India, Maharashtra. One is chapati. Along with chapati, I ate lady's finger sabzi, or okra as it is called as. So it's like we take the chapati, we pick an okra and we combine it and eat it. Along with that, I also had dal, which basically is like lentil soup, along with rice.
Okay, how was it? Did you do the cooking, or did someone else in your family do the
No,
cooking?
I love everybody in my family, which is why I never cook for them.
What does that mean?
I love them too much to cook for them. If at all I cook, I only cook for myself. Or if I'm outside and if there are about 100 or 200 people or sometimes 1,000 people who are supposed to be fed at a community kitchen, in that case, then I do cook. It's not that I don't, but I'm not exactly a cooking fan. I don't like cooking much, as opposed to my mother and my sister, but I don't really like cooking.
Now, do you still live at home, or do you live
in India? Yes. So Carla, in India, it doesn't matter how old you are. You leave your parents' house only under two circumstances. One, you get a job which is outside of your city, or you get married for a woman. Since both are not the situations with me, I stay with my parents.
Yeah, I'm very aware of that with India. I actually have been there and would plan to go back. I don't know when, but I do plan on going back. No one in this chat, and I shouldn't even have to say this to you, should be muted. Please open up your mic. I think you guys know how to talk, and you know how to be quiet when someone else is talking. And Hoang, you've been around me long enough that you should know that, and I shouldn't have to tell you that every time I do something with you. Okay, so you're saying, let's get back to the food issue. So you don't cook for yourself, your family cooks for you, and you live in an extended family. So if you would get married, my question is, would you be moving into the house with your husband, or would you be living separately?
A lot depends, like I said, unless you have a job which is outside of your city.
That's not the question I asked.
Oh, I am okay with anything. I mean, I personally, because I have.
That's not my question. My question is, under typical circumstances, if you were to get married, would you be moving into your husband's home under normal circumstances?
Yes.
You don't know what's going to happen until it happens.
Yes. No, I move into my husband's house.
Okay, that's what I was asking. So the extended family, I have a lot of friends who are Indian here. I've also seen it when I was in India. When you guys go out, even for a short shopping trip, there's at least 10 people that go with you.
Yes,
And
yes, that's true.
I don't quite get it because I don't live in that environment. But it's true. There's at least 10 people who will go with you wherever you go. It's not a 2 or 3 people escapade at
No,
all.
no, definitely not. I remember there was this time when my sister was a little down. She was going through a rough patch. And because she was going through a rough patch, our entire family, comprised of about 15 to 20 people, would meet every weekend just to lift up her spirits.
Slow down. Go on.
Just to lift up her spirits, about 15 to 20 people of our family who lived in our city, they would gather. Sometimes other members who were in the nearby cities, they would make a quick one-day trip to cheer her up. So it's little difficult to be lonely in India because you're always surrounded by people all the time.
And that's the same for Pakistan. And it really, I grew up in a very small family. My sister and brother were 9 and 10 years older than me, so they weren't around for a lot of my childhood. But at the same time, we went out, mom, dad, me, maybe my sister or brother would join us, but it was never 10, 20 people at one time with all the nieces and all the nephews and all whatever. So you really can't get lonely in a situation like that at all.
Families are very close knit over here. All you have to do is tell that you are having a little trouble. You will have at least more than 3 to 5 cousins who will reach out to you, offering you 10 different things, and you have a choice. You're pampered.
It's amazing. Victor, are you familiar with the whole idea of an extended family?
No, I am not. I watch it on television, but extended families, I am not that familiar with. In fact, in my culture, kids get out of the house as quickly as they can. I'm noticing of late, there's a lot more of people in my generation trying to keep the kids from getting out of the house. But Carla, first chance folks get, they are out of there. And it may be due to the fact that in my culture, the controls or the strictness of the parents can be overwhelming. I mean, when I was a boy, I couldn't even open the refrigerator unless I asked for permission. I wasn't able to go outside and play unless I asked for permission. And that's how it was for all my siblings. So no, extended families, not so much in my culture.
And you're talking about the Afro-American culture when you say your culture.
Well, I didn't realize I was talking about the Afro-American culture, but I
No,
guess I was.
the reason you said that, when you said that your culture is a little different from my Jewish background. Not much, but it's a little different. So when you say my culture or you say the country's culture, you're talking two different ways of life. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but when I was talking about my culture, I was talking personally rather than I was talking the micro rather than the macro.
Right. And I wanted to point that out.
Okay.
I wasn't downplaying it. I was just pointing that out. Someone has something on in the background. Could you please mute it? And also, don't mute yourself. Just ask the people who are talking in the background to leave the room, because if you're muted, it's harder for you to speak. Mayank, now you come from an Indian culture. Do you, in your family, do you live in an extended family?
No, we don't live in extended family, but it's like my family moved to city for our education. And when there is some celebration, like it's a Diwali festival, some sort of festival, Indian festival, we usually come together and celebrate the same. Since I am living outside my home, so when I go back to visit my family, I would have to like take up 7 days. I take 7 days just to meet them individually, and the entire trip goes in just meeting them. So yeah, I do follow the Indian custom, that is that the practice of being in extended family, but I don't live in an extended family.
Now, what made you move out?
So actually, we were living in a village sort of thing. So there we don't had that much facilities of schools available. So that's why my family moved out of village for our education.
Whoa,
And
whoa,
so
whoa, 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 whoa. I'm a little confused. You just said your family does not live with you,
yes,
correct? I heard you say that. Now you're saying your family has moved out of the home. I'm a little confused.
they moved out 20 years back when I was a child. And then I went through my schooling. I passed out of college. I got a job. And then I moved out of my home city into the city where I got a job. So that's
Okay.
how it's.
So where is your job?
I live in Pune, or my job is in Pune, which is nearby to Mumbai. So
I'm familiar with that. I've been in India.
okay.
So who do you live with? Do you live with friends or do you live alone?
No, I live with my friends. They are my colleague from my company. So I live with two of them.
Do you live in an apartment or do you live in like a hostel set?
No, I live in an apartment and we live separately in individual rooms.
Yeah, well, that I expected, but you live with 3 different people or 4 different people from your office. Did your office help you find your place or did you kind of
No,
that
I had to do it myself, find partners who were compatible with me, in the sense they were okay to live with me.
Okay. In living with you in your new setting, when you first moved to Pune, did they help you find a place to live, or did you live in a hotel, or where did you live?
So as per the company policy, they give a 15 days stay initially in a hotel, just to find the accommodation, just to arrange the accommodation. They do have hostels too, but those are not properly maintained. So usually people don't prefer to go for that. So for my initial starting 1 year, I stayed in those hostels because I was too lazy to find a accommodation for me. So as year passed by, I thought of moving into a good location, a good, well-maintained house. So that's how I moved out after a year.
So it took about a year, but you did it eventually. If you are watching the show and you want to join us, feel free to click on the Zoom link and join us. Huang, I know that you're living alone right now with your daughter, but when you first began, well, did you start out living in a joint family? Someone has something on and needs to turn it off. Huang, can you please answer?
Yes, Carla.
Yes.
What did you say the first time?
Same question. Were you listening? Remember, there's two reasons you come to chat with me. One is speaking, and I know you can do that. But number two is listening. And you cannot learn if you are not listening. I know distractions are all over the world. I have my own distractions, but you need to be listening. Okay, what have we been talking about, Huang?
Oh, you're talking about extended families or some kind of that families generations, yeah, to live together. But some
Right.
sounds are interrupted when you ask me. Like you said that right now I'm living with my daughter, but before that, right?
But what are we talking about, Huang? Do you understand the topic?
From my knowledge.
No, answer my question. Do you understand the topic?
Yes, I think I understood.
Okay, the reason I'm asking you is if I'm asking the same thing to everyone, what is the issue if you understand? I am trying to learn myself. I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm saying it to understand where you're coming from. So, what have we been speaking about?
I think you are talking about living with your families in different kinds of families, like extended family or nuclear or some kind of families you have in your cultures, in your country. Is that correct?
Yeah. So what do you think I asked you?
Maybe, let me guess.
Don't guess. What do you think I asked you? You're doing very well. This is something I've been wanting to do with you for a long time, and I'm getting the opportunity to right now.
Okay.
So if you were not completely paying attention, what do you think I asked you about it? Asked you.
You asked me about before leaving with my daughter.
Not people. I asked about yourself.
You asked me?
Yeah.
You asked me, like, did I live in an extended family? In an extended family?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
You didn't, and you do now? Or you didn't, or you do not live in an extended family?
Right now, I'm living with my daughter. Yes,
Right.
that's my nuclear family. Before that, no, I didn't live.
Not
I haven't.
didn't.
I haven't.
That's
lived.
I'm trying to correct an English thing. Didn't is in the past. Do is present. So didn't you didn't live with your family, or you do not live with your family?
Right now, I don't live with my parents.
Excellent. You visit them, but you do not live with them because they're many, many miles away, correct?
Yes, you're right.
Have you ever lived in an extended family with your parents and your siblings or your brothers and sisters?
Oh, yes, I have.
How does that feel?
Oh, that's amazing. That's my happy, memories.
And you go back every month or every few months, correct?
Yes, every single month. I visit them at least once a month.
And that's good.
Yes.
What made you decide to move from your hometown to, I forget, Hanoi? Why did you make that move?
I decided to work away from home because I really wanted to support the community there. My students, for example, they have had a lot of disadvantages when living in a remote and mountainous location. So that's my volunteer work there to support people with my effort and my contribution. I have been there for almost 18 years. A lot of obstacles and difficulties there, but I'm happy right now because I have overcome all difficulties and all challenges in my life. Yes, and my students call me mom. Yes.
And that, in our country, if it's one of my students called me mom, I would say, no, I'm not your mom. And I'd make that very clear. Whereas in your country, it's very normal. That's a normal thing. And I think that's really interesting. Victor, have you ever heard students calling a teacher mom?
No, but
Actually, in this country, at least where I am, the students would laugh at them. But go on, Victor.
I haven't heard it at school. But the church that I attend, people refer to the pastor's wife as mom or mama. I can never understand why you would call anybody other than your mom or someone who functions as your mom the term mama. But no, people don't call their teacher mom where I'm from.
Neither do they from where I am, too. What about you, Gayatri?
No, even here in India, the roles are segregated. So you never call your teacher as mom. Teacher is addressed as teacher, unless your mom happens to be your teacher, which was the case with my uncle.
And that's an important thing to keep in mind, that that's another cultural difference that happens throughout the world. We call each other by different ways. What about you, Mayank? Am I
mean,
saying your name correctly?
Right, it's correct.
Go
So
on.
I second Gayatri. In India or even in place where I have grown up, so we usually don't used to call our teachers mom. We used to call our mom only mom. The blood relationship, what we can say.
Okay. I mean, if it happened in a classroom where I was teaching, the kids would actually be very abusive to the child who said that. So it's not something that you would want said. Okay, back to you. I just thought it was such an interesting question. So, Hoang, you live with just your daughter and yourself, and you visit your family. I'm still unclear why you moved from your village or your smaller town to Hanoi. Can you explain that to me? And is
Okay.
that one other question? And is that a something in Vietnam which is normal, or are kids, unmarried women expected to stay with their families? Go on, Hoang.
Yes, Carla. The first question, I decided to walk away from my parents, my families. Yeah, I have shared with everyone here about the reason I wanted to contribute myself to the like a disadvantaged community, especially my students from remote and mountainous location. And I'm so happy to do that when I can share my experience, my knowledge to other people away from my home, and I can show my brave man when I could start my career in a strange place, so without any kind of support from my relatives. So yeah, um but I could build up my teaching career there. But of course, right now I'm wondering that I should change my university and the location. I mean, another office that's close to my hometown, my parents, to take care of them when they get older, and for me, so I mean, narrow the navigation, yes, the traveling, I mean, distance. And that's my plans for future. That's why I'm searching and finding a job and a new university to teach, because teaching is my passion. I don't want to change my career, but I want to change my university to teach. Yeah. And the second questions, the second question, for single girl, yeah, women or even men, they prefer living with their parents here. Yes, to living alone, because they want to. I mean, they want to support their parents more, and also when getting married to other people, they will have both relatives from both sides, from wife's relatives and also from husband relatives. So they need support from both sides like that. And also they want to show that they are from this family, parents and everything. But of course, when getting a job in different places, they have to move. they don't sacrifice. They are not able to sacrifice their wish or their wants. Yep.
Wonderful. Gayatri, in your family, which there could be 20 to 30 people on a trip to the market. And you know what I'm saying is true. I'm not just being facetious. I've seen it happen here. How does it feel when you go out without anyone else in the family?
Personally, I'm a bit of a loner. So even when we are on a family trip, so when we are talking about a family trip, apart from like me, my mother, my father, my sister, sometimes it's a couple of aunts, a couple of uncles who also join us. So mostly there are at least, let's say, about 8 to 10 people on the trip. But because I'm a loner, I tend to walk alone a lot. And even my father tends to walk alone a lot. So it is kind of a different thing that we walk alone. But all the other family members love to talk about how we walk alone. So even when we are walking, alone, after regular intervals, our family members will shout out our name that wait for us right there. We are also with you. And sometimes my grandmother and all would love to add a few dialogue like, you may not want us as your family, but we are your family. You may want to be alone, but you cannot do away with us. And my mother has a more for dramatics. She has a liking for dramatics. She even goes to an extent to say things like, next time you take birth, ask for a family which does not have so many members. But now that you are in this family, you have to listen to us. Now, I remember Victor saying that everybody wanted to move out of their families in his culture because of the parental control or the strict nature. Now, honestly, in India, now my father was 52 years old when he took admission for MBA. My grandfather, that is his father, was 80 years old. Now, he was not staying with us. He was staying in the village and we were staying in the city. Because of the work pressure and everything, my father did not pass one subject. My 80-year-old grandfather called my 52-year-old father and asked him these questions. If you could not study properly, sincerely, why did you even take the admission? Why are you wasting money on the course that you don't even want to do it? Is this what I have taught you? Is this the way you behave? You have exams. And my father is telling him that, no, I had my official work. I was busy with the meetings. There were 10 other things happening. Don't give me reasons. Tell me whether you're going to study or not. That is all. Now, this was 80-year-old grandfather talking to my 52-year-old father. And it is very common in India that this happens. I remember that my grandfather's mother, until very recently, would scold him. Now, my grandfather is 65 years old. His mother is 75. His mother is 85 years old. And my grandfather used to feel privileged that he has a mother to scold him at the age of 65. So it was in India, it's like the parents and children relationship. It's just accepted that, like Victor said, that opening the fridge. Now, if I am opening the fridge, my mother has 10 questions. Why did you open the fridge? Why do you have to open the fridge 10 times if you don't need anything? Electricity wastage to why I even need to eat at such odd hours. But it doesn't matter. In India, we just know that there is no other option. You are living with your family until you have a job outside of the city like Mayank has, or you get married. So I've decided to find the humor into it, and I just enjoy it now.
You know, it's really interesting. Victor asked me to ask the same question to him.
No, I'm asking you if we can ask you those questions.
Oh, sure. I was just responding. I
No,
don't
we want to
know.
know about you.
Then
Absolutely,
answer
that
the
would be
question.
interesting.
I don't think it's that interesting, but you can ask.
Did
And I
you
don't
grow
know
up,
the questions anymore. So
did you grow up around an extended family?
no, I said that earlier. I
So
had
she
my
had,
mom.
yeah, I heard she had, her siblings were 9 to 10 years older than her, which is why they were not much around when she was growing up.
And I had my mom and dad, and basically my my dad's family, father and mom, I don't remember at all meeting because they had died when I was extremely young. My grandfather died, I think, when I was 5 on my mom's side. And my grandmom died, or both of them on my mom's side died before they were, I really remember them. I remember my grandfather. My grandmom had a lot of dementia, so I didn't really get to know her. I'm not even sure she remembered me at all, or she really knew who I was.
There's been some talk about people spending time alone presently. Would you say that you spend lots of time alone?
Without family or with friends? With family or friends?
Either way, we are speaking English in this show.
Honestly, since the pandemic, I spent a lot of time with myself. I do have friends I go out with every once in a while, but because of my work from home and many of my responsibilities that I have with the work I do, I can't always spend I'm not always going out like I used to go out.
With the number of broadcasts and interactions that you have on broadcasts in here where you live, do you consider those times as being time spent with others?
Oh yeah, definitely times with others. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm talking with people. I may have never met you, but I've spent a lot of time with you on a broadcast. Gayatri, I'm getting to know better. Huang, I still can't figure out why she wants to come to everything I do that I invite her to, but I've gotten to know her very well. There are many friends that I have on Facebook who have become real friends just because I speak to them all the time.
Welcome someone named Ben. He'll be here shortly.
Okay, when Ben comes in, we need Huang, put on that darn mic. If I ever have to say that to you again, Huang, I may not be using language that I should be using.
She may be burping or something, and she doesn't want you to hear her burp.
I don't give a.
Okay, all right. Hey, Ben, you will need to turn your camera on.
Or I will remove you in the next minute.
We charge money for voyeurism. Okay, I guess he's out.
He didn't want to put on his. Well, you know what? When that happens, Victor, many times that is someone who is acting like will act as a troll. So unless he could have written in, "Hey, I'm having electric problems," but for some reason, I don't think that was the case there.
Well, it wouldn't matter to me if I can't see his camera. He is out of here.
Yeah, I agree. That's how I play the game too. Thank you, Victor. I appreciate it.
No
But we
charge.
couldn't even need to say that to him. We should just remove him.
Well, he may not know he needs to have his camera on, and that's why
Yeah.
I told him.
But usually I do it in the chat instead of interrupting the conversation. Now, do you have any more questions for me?
No, we're simply having a conversation, and as you interview the members here, when you ask the question, it's just a natural thing for the person answering the question to say, how about you?
Yeah.
So continue asking the questions.
Well, now I've lost my train of thought on it. So you need to get me back to it.
Or somewhere else. Take, for instance, you just mentioned your train of thought. How popular are trains in India?
Well, that's a really good question for India and Vietnam. Mayank, you haven't spoken for a while. Talk about the Indian trains.
Well, as a child, when I was not earning, it was very common for me to get a feel of it. I usually used to do travel by train, and there it used to be like if you have to travel, say 3 months ahead, you will have to plan it now because you are not going to get tickets just a few weeks earlier. If you have plans, it usually remains crowded, and even in case you get a ticket and you have a seat, a well-defined seat, assume it that it's not yours completely. There are
It's true. Tell the story.
so it's like if it's a coach of 72 seats, there will be 100 more people in the waiting list who are awaiting a confirmation of ticket, and they have to travel. It's you may say it's a necessity for them, but since they have not got a berth of their own, they will ask you, okay, if you are willing to like just give us some side, some portion of your seat just to sit, so that we can also like get get to our destination. And you will be like, okay, I have paid for it, why would I share? Then they are going to reply you, see, someday you would be in our shoe. So think of that day when you have to travel and you don't have a seat. So how would it feel? So people usually get melted that time. Okay, it's just a matter of a 24 hours this journey, you can say. So yeah, you can have a seat and you can enjoy with me the travel, and yeah, we will get to know each other in that course of time if things go well.
So people meet their spouses on trains, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it do happen sometimes
Oh
if you are
my
lucky.
God. So
If
there was this
I have
movie.
been not so lucky. Even I didn't get a girlfriend, so
Wow.
I usually think that it do not happen with me.
There
Wow.
are full-length romantic Hindi movies which are cult movies, the most popular movies or evergreen movies of all time, where the romance began on train.
But
I
I
have
think
seen, go
uh,
on, Mayank, go ahead.
but I think like my faith has been written by God in a manner that even if I travel by flight, there is no one besides me, a girl or female who sits beside me. In my entire journey, like I have been to like these days, these are frequent. Still, I think, why is it so? Why is it happening with me only?
And also, when you're traveling, I haven't done a train trip yet, but when you're traveling in India, you see people on top of the roof of the
Yes.
train.
Yes,
Yes.
that's another thing. Like if you have 100 plus waiting, and if you don't get even a standing place inside a coach, what you are going to do? You have to travel. So people usually go on the top, like, let's complete the
Yeah,
destination.
but fortunately now that has reduced considerably since the speed of trains have gone up. The speed of trains has increased considerably. So nowadays we don't really get to see people sitting on the roofs. But then there are local trains in cities like Mumbai where you will see them hanging out, like literally hanging out of the doors.
I have seen videos of uniformed proctors on the platform stuffing people into the train. Is that just imaginary? Does that really happen?
No, so that I think the videos that you have seen, they were probably the videos of during the partition between India, when India was there was a partition of India with India and Pakistan. So people were moving from India to Pakistan and from Pakistan to India, and it was not exactly the great time, and people's lives were at risk. So yes, that could have been the time when you saw the video that you saw could have been the video of that time, because just for the safety of people, even if you have place to just hang to a window and reach the other part of the border, people did that. There was no other option. I mean, that was the time when even if you are in the train and if person with one mad person enters with the sword in a hand, or if there is a gang that intercepts your train, then the train would arrive on the other side of the border with all the dead bodies in it. So that was the period wherein these kind of things happened, just to save the people. As many people you can stop, just stop them into train and take them to the other side of the border. Rest can be seen. So trains have a very different a different importance in India, and British do take the credit for building the trains here in India.
Well, how about trains in Vietnam, Huang?
You asked
Oh.
my question.
Thank you. Traveling by trains is my cup of tea, to be honest, because I'm working away from home about 100 kilometers, so it's very convenient for me to travel every month. But right now, because of the pandemic, so we stop running this type of train. I think next month they will continue running the trains here from my hometown to the place I work here. And we don't have metro. Oh, yes, we have, but just in the city, in Hanoi capital, we have that metro. But I think not around the city, just some kind of distances they have metro. But I really love traveling by metro when I was in India in 2018. Yeah, it was so amazing, and it's very convenient, fast, and nice. Yep, reasonable price, I think.
So you would rather do a train than your motorbike?
Yes, it's safer and more convenient when traveling by trains. For driving or riding a scooter, it's very risky, I can say. But yeah, in the big city, we still have a lot of scooters and motorbikes, because that's the main vehicle in my country for traveling. Using cars is very expensive in Vietnam, I can say. With salary as a teacher, you will never expect to buy a car. So that's why you should do business beside teaching. And I started doing that. Yeah. And hopefully in the next few years, I will be able to buy a car.
Amen.
Yep. Thank you.
Do you want a car, Huang, or is it something you find to be a necessity?
I will buy a car to travel some different places.
Okay, I did not say the question clearly enough for you. Do you want to buy a car?
Yes, I do.
And why do you want to buy a car? What is your big interest in buying a car?
Because I think with my own car, it's very flexible for me to travel whenever you want. You can take your car to travel to visit some different places or relatives easily. Yes, you can control and manage your time or schedule better. Even it's rain or it's hot, you still have the car to travel. I think it will be more convenient for me.
I think it's a great idea. I just wanted to know if it was something you are doing because you want to do it, or are you doing it because you are feeling, hey, I better do it in order to do what I need to do?
I want to do that.
Okay. That's not your fault. It's just how we use the language. And I want to kind of give you a little tuning when I can. Okay, guess what, guys? What do you think I'm going to say next?
You're going to say it's time for us to go.
And we're going to sing goodbye, goodbye. We will be back next month with another chat. Please tell people that we're doing this. I know that I don't advertise it like I should. I kind of forget about it and then realize, oh, Planet Union needs to be done. And I just do it. So let your friends and family know that we are here, and we will be here once a month. And we'll also be here with People's Union of South Asia. And I would like you there for that, Gayatri and Mayank, because you're South Asia. And Hoang knows, but I don't need to tell her because she'll just come. Although I will tell her. And it's kind of fun talking about different cultures and how our lives revolve around our cultures, but yet we still have some of the same things. Like we have trains in this country, in the US, but you would never see us so crowded that we end up on top of the train or we end up hanging out of the train. It's not allowed. So it fascinates me when I hear these stories. So I want to thank Victor and Hoang and Gayatri and Mayank for coming today. I hope they had fun. And let's wave goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy